In celebration of 808 Day, so happy 808 Day to everyone, I'm gonna give you 8 helpful tips on how to make hard-hitting 808s like these in Sublab. So the first thing I want to do is initialize. So I won't count that as a tip. So from here, all you have to do is go over to the browser and then select new preset. So once you go over here, new preset, and we have something. So what does it sound like right now? Not much like anything. So let's talk about the first tip, and that would be on how to get a body built for it. So a key to a great hitting 808 is a hard hitting body, so a foundation. And that's what Sublab excels in, because you can load up anything from any of these examples here and get a hard hitting kick. So one of the packs that I designed has a kick in there that's like a rack kick, you know, the famous rack kick. And once you add that in there and you hit this button right here, which turns it on, you get this right now. You get a kick. So the next tip that I want to show you right here is when we go back to the oscillator or the synth, you can go over here to volume, because what's causing that not to hit so heavy right now is the envelope that you have to play with. So the main thing you want to do is make sure that you turn down the sustain and then mess with the release a little bit. Let's turn it down here. And now you'll start to notice a little bit more of a body to be formed. We want to increase the release, so that way when you hit the key on the keyboard, you can just tap it slightly and it will make the 808 boom. So we're halfway there. By the way, I've noticed that only 30% of you guys are subscribed to my channel, so make sure that you subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. And I have an 808 pack for Sublab with one-shot WAV files called Mount Trapmore. The link in the description box will look like this. It will take you to 16levels.com. And this is the 808 pack in itself. It is on sale for the cute price of $8.08. Yeah. The next tip I want to show you is a pretty cool tip when you're building an 808, and that is the filter section. The filter section actually dictates when the filter comes in. So if you had this going a little further over, you have the attack at around 218 milliseconds, you can get this to be action off faster. But we need to mess with the filter just a little bit. So let's go ahead and mess with the filter and then assign the filter right now. And let's see what we get. So the next thing I want to show you real quick is the new LFO system. So the new LFO system does some pretty cool things. So you can assign the LFO to a couple of things like the synth tune, the synth super wave, detune, and so forth, but we have it on filter cutoff right now so that it can be action off, and we can assign the LFO either by BPM or just by the rate, and doing so and assigning the amount will give some interesting takes on the 808 that we're doing. So right now, not much happening, but we'll get there in a second. So I already mentioned the filter section, and there's plenty of things that you could do with the filters. Like you can change the filter to band pass to high pass, but we're gonna keep it on low pass for right now. But just to say, let's put it on high pass and we can get a little bit more tonality out of that, even though that's not a word. So let's get back into low pass filter here. And now we're going to work on adding effects. So the most obvious effect that you can use is a distortion effect. So what we need to do is go over here to this effects section and then add some distortion. It is important that you know that you can add or take away and assign that effect to either the synth engine or the sample engine. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add it, and then I will increase the drive. And how does that 808 sound now? My favorite distortion has to be this one right here, which is an orange. And that's based off of a orange guitar amp. So let's hear that. Getting back to it, another tip if you want to add gliding 808s is to go over here to glide. And you can kind of hear it now, but you can change that any way that you want. Probably one of the most sensational things about Sublab XL is the multiple effects that you can add to your bass. So what I'm going to do is go over here to this plus sign, and then you'll see add effect, and I can add another distortion, so you can layer distortions. You can add lo-fi with tape, and you can add bit crushing, which gives some cool video game vibes. And then you can do compression and wave shaping. So let's go over here to the wave shaper, because the wave shaper actually has some pretty cool elements to it. So this wave shaper will give you this when you first use it. And it gives a lot more body to the 808. As you may have noticed, that wave shaping effect does allow you to hear your 808s on a phone, but it probably won't sound all that great on other systems. It might be a little too violent. And that's where I want to introduce you to this part right here and show you that you can add the amount of wave shaper into the effect that you want. And you can also do that with any of the existing effects and choosing a certain frequency. So it starts off at 6 Hertz and ends at 20 kilohertz. So doing any combination of this will change the tonality of your bass. Mixing 808s is key. So that's where I want to introduce you to something that will give you a maximum amount of control, and that is compression. So we'll add another effect in there. We'll choose compressor, and then we're going to lower the threshold just a tad bit, and then we're going to add it to the synth. If you notice, sidechaining was introduced with the compressor, which is a great way to get cleaner 808s, so you can have your kick be the biggest part of your body and have the bass part be the softer end of your body, giving you a nice transient. There's a new tone area where you can take away frequencies right here. So when I do that, let's go ahead and show the example. You get a cleaner frequency. Last but not least, here's a new feature in Sublab XL that I love a lot. So in Sublab XL, you can actually create macros. So it's a very easy process, by the way, and all you have to do is drag and drop. So I'm going to drag this over to the distortion drive, and then I'm going to make sure that the macro gets a certain amount. And then I will go ahead and drag macro B into the wave shaper. So now it's like we have multiple presets in one preset, which is key. And let's go ahead and demonstrate that.